Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So yesterday I arrived in America. I arrived in the US in Georgia, state of Georgia. I gonna tell you my experience flying from England to uh, the USA, Georgia. I had to fly from London Heathrow Airport to New York JFK Airport, and then I had to fly from New York JFK Airport to Atlanta Airport. So I'm going to tell you my experience going through security and what they did. So first of all, before I even started flying, about a week before, I researched the process. So what I need to do. I found out that I have to declare my gold and silver if it's worth over £10,000 or $10,000. So my gold and silver was worth over $10,000, and I had to. That means I would have to declare it. So it was. So which means I had to declare it. So I called up London Heathrow Airport before flying, and they said that I would have to fill out an online form on the government's website, the UK government's website, and then I also emailed the CBP, the Customs and Border Protection Agency in America, and I emailed them. I asked them about what I had to do. They said I had to declare over $10,000 when I enter the US. So I asked them if I had to declare it or not, and they said I had to declare it when I arrive in New York. So what actually happened was I went to London. When I entered the London airport, I had to go through security, and I didn't get stopped at all. My bag went through the X-ray machine, and they didn't say anything to me. They didn't stop me. They didn't question anything. They let me go through to the gate. So there was no issues in London, even though I did fill out the form. I did fill out a declaration form online for the UK, and then after a 7-hour flight between London and New York, it was quite a fast flight, faster than usual. I believe it's normally about eight hours, but this time it was only 7 hours. So it was quite fast, the flight this time. And when I landed in New York, I had to go through security again because I had to go from New York to Atlanta. So I had to go through security because I was doing a connecting flight. So what I did was I went to the CBP and I showed them my passport, my American passport, to enter the US, and then I asked them for a declaration form, and they gave me a declaration form, and they asked me what I have. I said that I had 4 ounces of gold and 69 ounces of silver, and then they said to me, what's the value of it? And I said that that the value of it is the market price, the spot price. So I told them how to search it up. They searched it up on the computer, on Google. They Googled the spot price of gold and silver, and then they just multiplied the spot price by the number of ounces I have. So they did 2,300 times 4. They did a 30 times 69. Add that together, and then that had to be written down on the form. I had to write down four times gold coins and 69 times silver coins, plus any amount of dollars I had on me. I had $1,000 in cash in my wallet, so I had to declare that as well. I had to write down $1,000 cash, 4 ounces of gold, about $9,000, and then 69 ounces of silver, about $1,700 of silver. So I did that, and then the CBP officer let me go into New York, but I didn't go into New York because I had to go on the next flight just a few hours later. I only had like a 3-hour layover in New York, so I had to be fast because otherwise I would miss my flight. So I went straight away through security in New York again in order to go onto the second flight. And when I went through the security screening machine, they did stop my bag and put it down a different track, and they left it there, and then they told me that they needed to inspect it. And I said to them, that there was gold and silver in there. I told them that I declared it at the CBP counter, the Customs and Border Protection counter. I told them about that, and the woman that was searching for my bag, she opened my bag. She brought out the gold and silver tubes. She opened the tubes and she counted every single one. She counted that I had 69 ounces of silver, and she counted that I had 4 ounces of gold. They made sure that I wasn't lying, you know. They made sure that they counted everything. They even counted my dollars as well. They checked that I had $1,000 in cash. And then after that, it took about maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes for them to count everything, to check through everything. So then they put it all back in where it was. They put it all back in the bag. They put all of the silver in the silver tubes, and then they put all of the gold coins in the gold tubes. And then they let me let me put my stuff away. They didn't put everything back in the bag. They only put the gold and silver back in the bag. I had to put my clothes back in the bag because the bag that my gold and silver was in had clothes in it. Had clothes, and it also had my laptop in it. So I didn't want them to damage my laptop. So I had to put the clothes back in my bag myself and my laptop back in my bag. But I put the silver back in and the gold back in. But there was no issues. Then they let me go through security, and then that was it. And then I got the flight from New York to Atlanta. I landed in Atlanta. There's no security in Atlanta because it's a national flight. So they only had to do security once when you enter the flight, not when you leave the flight. But when you do an international flight from London to New York, you do have to do two rounds of security. And then I didn't have any issues in Atlanta at all because there's no security. So yeah, guys, that was my experience with traveling with gold and silver across the Atlantic. It wasn't difficult. It was a bit annoying that she got out all my gold and silver in front of everybody. But to be honest, I don't think anybody really knew the value of silver or gold. Most people these days are clueless about the value of silver or the value of gold. They might just think it's a few dollars, but it might be worth a few dollars. Yeah, so anyway, guys, this was a different experience. If you ever want to travel with gold and silver, make sure you research the rules of what you need to declare. Make sure you know which form you need to fill out. For example, if you're moving between the UK and the US in the next few years, make sure you fill out the declaration form on both sides of the country. So fill out the UK declaration form. You have to fill out a UK declaration form when you're leaving the country. And then when you arrive in the US, you have to fill in another declaration form for the US. And vice versa. So if you're moving from the US to the UK, you have to do a similar thing. So make sure you do your research before flying with gold and silver, because if I had not declared my gold and silver, they could have confiscated my gold and silver. And they could have fined me as well. So I avoided getting confiscation, and I avoided being fined because I declared it. So make sure you declare it if you are flying with gold and silver. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.